North Road made this.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Games with BK. This is Season 2, Episode 1 of the Clay Brown Senior Dynasty Mode Series. And in the finale of Season 1, you already saw Grambling State took a huge L to the Hawaii squad. We were overmatched. We ain't really had the kind of talent to really go head-to-head with them. But I did get a chance to see some of the younger players in action. And I feel like I got some potential with the quarterback position. And overall, I think the season was I guess you could say, a success. I feel like the team's a little bit ahead of schedule because coming in, looking at the cupcake type roster, looking at the low ratings, I figured maybe we hit like 4 wins on the whole season. We ended up getting 6, making a bowl game. We got blown out in quite a few games due to the lack of talent and the gap between the teams. And bad play from my side. I got to take a little accountability for that. But overall, I feel like we got a decent little squad that we could build on. We do have to continue to recruit. We do have to see what recruits will commit to the school. And we do still have to see what the transfer portal is going to bring in. Because, I've seen other people's videos. There's a chance you could land a couple of really good players on your team. And they'll be difference makers. So, we're going to get into all of that. I'm going to start off by looking at some of the recruiting stuff that happened immediately after the bowl game. Then I'm going to get into the preparation for Season 2. I think I'm going to throw a little practice footage in here too down the line. So, here we go. Season 2, Episode 1, Clay Brown Senior Dynasty Mode Series. So one of the things you do have to concern yourself with in the off season is losing players, like to transfer or whatever. But honestly speaking, on this squad where I had a whole lot of players who were in 50s and 60s and didn't really have no attributes I could work with, they could go. I will pay for the bus ticket. I'll help pack them up out of the dorms. I'll get them to, I'll help them leave and find another school because they ain't no real help to me. But that said, there are a couple players that I do want to keep, and I did want to try to figure out how to go around these deal breakers, like playing style. I heard it's attached to yards per game and those kinds of stats. So going forward, if I see somebody that I do want to keep on the squad, I'll try to adjust and get the yardage that I need to keep them on the roster. So you see some of the players that are leaving the school right now. Trey Tyson, one of them. Al Bundy III. Now, I want to keep Al Bundy III because I'm committed to trying to get this dude 4 touchdowns in a single game. But as you can see, he ain't trying to stay. He going. I definitely want to keep Holland in the corner because he got speed that I can work with. Hopefully he get a nice little boost. Luke Wright the second, quarterback that I want to work with. Hopefully, he's coming back. The corner Holland coming back. Trey Tyson, he ain't trying to come back. So the players that I'm trying to bring back are the ones who got like good physical attributes that I feel like I could develop and make something happen with them. And you see all the rest of them, they could go. Like, I'm good. I'm going to throw them a little party and thank them for their time. And they're just going to be on their way. So now we're going to move on to the next week. As you see, we still got this players at risk of transfer type stuff. I guess this carries over into the next season. So now I know I got to adjust how I play. I got the list of the players that did sign already. You see a pretty healthy list here. We're going to work on Roderick Miranda. He's one player I kind of added late in the season. He's a 4-star wide receiver. If he joins the squad, he'll probably come in as a starter. Like, just based off of the fact that I don't really have a whole lot of highly rated receivers. And I don't know if the off-season training is going to help boost these guys. I think he's going to come in as a starter. Trying to add this defensive tackle as well, Darryl Fouts, because we definitely need help on the D-line. So we'll talk through these next few screens. It's not going to be like a full detailed breakdown of what I was recruiting, or how I was recruiting, but this is the off-season period, so you know that you can add people from the transfer portal. So that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to find, number one, I wanted to find a pass-catching tight end, because the tight ends that I got on this team, they ain't really effective in pass catching. I can't throw the ball to them over the middle and expect them to catch it. They can't really get downfield, create no mismatches, beat defenders, and none of that. So I had to find a pass catching tight end. I had to find some defensive line help. I had to try to find. I did look for a running back because the production really wasn't there from the running game. I needed to find maybe a tackle or two. I wanted to find a nice safety to pair with the freshman safety that I recruited. So I'm trying to overall look for at least 4-star talents, but then I had to probably settle for some 3 stars in certain positions. Oh, I forgot about the offensive line. I was definitely looking for some offensive line help because I got a couple of quarterbacks on the roster that are not experienced, not really highly rated. I need to give them guys at least some time to throw the football. Can't be like a free-for-all every time they drop back, because that was not going to cut it. And I also wanted to find a corner, because I have my top corner pretty much graduated. So that's what I was looking for. What I should have done was actually show you who committed to the school, like all the transfers who committed to the school, but I'll have a chance to kind of show you who they are later on. But in position changes, my strategy was pretty simple. If we were at a position where we had mad people and you were low rated on that, or like lower down on a tier, I was going to try to find another position where you might have a better chance to play. Now the quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers were pretty much set, even though I did try to find a spot for one of the wide receivers, possibly on defense. It didn't work out like that. But the tight ends, I had too many of them. And the ones that I had last year were not very good at pass catching. So when I was able to recruit a pass catching tight end in the transfer portal, it made some of these guys easier to move, like Maverick Bentley and Sam McLawler. They were like my 1 and 2 tight end, I think, as far as the depth chart. Moved them both over to fullback. Now it's like 3 fullbacks on the squad. Figured they could at least block if they can't catch. So that was pretty easy to do. Now on the offensive line, that's why I spent a little bit more time trying to be strategic and disciplined about how I went about it, because I wanted to find the right balance for the offensive line. Mind you, this is before off-season training, so I don't know. Some of these guys might get a surge or a boost in ratings during training, but based on what they had at that time, I was trying to find the right spot on the offensive line for them. I wasn't necessarily trying to move a guy to defense, but if you were a big tackle, like 6'5", 320, just throwing out numbers like that, but you were not going to play, I was going to see if I could move you to left guard or right guard and see if you got a better chance if your abilities rated boost a little bit and you could fill out depth there. Now on defense, I did recruit a couple of transfer portal dudes, so that made it easier for me to move some of the lower rated ends to linebacker if they were like undersized. If they were like maybe, that was crazy to say 250 pounds is undersized, but if you play like 3 down linemen sometimes, so if you 250 or whatever and lower, I was like, alright, you got some speed, let me see if I can try you at that linebacker. And that's what I ended up doing for some of these players, moving them to linebacker. I don't think I had any real moves for the secondary. I think we're pretty much set. We recruited a transfer portal player who's going to start and replace last year's best corner. And the safeties, I think, are pretty set too. So there was no real other move. let's go ahead and talk about the roster. The 2025 Grambling State Tigers second year head coach Clay Brown Sr. And last year's roster was able to muster 6 wins. They went 6-7, went to a bowl game, got slaughtered in a few games this season. This roster should be better. You see the overalls on the screen: 78 overall, 77 on offense, 79 defense, and mainly that's due to some of the transfers, but also some good off-season progression during the training. Now, Tommy Egan is the best quarterback per overall, but he's not going to start for me this year. Sorry, he's going to be the third stringer. Charlie Hocker, the star or 3-star quarterback recruit, the scrambler, going to redshirt him. Let him sit a little bit, see if I can get some off-season progression. Bird Williams is going to be my second string quarterback, even though he's higher than Malik Wright, who's going to be the starter and my captain, mainly because I like Malik Wright's acceleration and speed combination a little bit more than Bird Williams's. And, quiet as is kept, even though he's a 66 overall, Malik Wright does have pretty good short throw accuracy and throw power. Like his throw power is pretty decent. It's serviceable. Now the deep throws, I'm probably not going to be able to make them, but it's all right. I got the ability to move and scramble with him and see if I can open up some things. Moving on to the running backs. Le'Veon Moss is a huge get for me, 85 overall. I think he came from Texas A&M, which is huge. Got good speed, acceleration, good size. He's going to be my starter. And because of him coming in, I'm going to redshirt two seniors, which is unheard of. I'm going to redshirt King Paulie and Smash Williams. Cam T is going to be the second string running back, who he would have been the first stringer if I didn't recruit anybody, because I was just dead set on trying to develop this guy's skills. But Tyleek Drummond is going to be the third string running back and like a third down type player where I can throw the ball to him. He has good speed. I'm going to look into using him on special teams as well. Moving on to the fullback spot, you got 2 converted tight ends because we didn't really have a lot of pass catching production from the tight end spot last year, so we moved over a couple of big bodies to the fullback spot. Sam McLawler and Maverick Bentley, who are like our 1 and 2 tight ends, to move alongside Jackson Gregory. And the reason why I moved those 2 guys over to the fullback spot is because we were able to recruit a pretty good tight end, which I'm going to get to in a moment. Rod Tidwell is going to lead our wide receiver core along with the true freshman Rod Miranda. Tanner Millen, we're going to go ahead and redshirt him, even though he's a senior. King Paulie and Smash Williams. We figure that we can get that one last year of off-season training, and as fifth-year seniors, they can come back and really, really do damage and be strong players for the squad. Derwin Davis II, Jimmy Sanderson Jr., 2 redshirt freshmen. Sanderson, a tall guy, 6'4", like 200 plus pounds. I'm going to try to start him on one side, even though he's not really the number 2 best in terms of overall, but he's a tall, big body target. Try to work him into this game. Javon Moore, another guy we're going to redshirt. He's a junior, good speed and acceleration, but we're going to see if we can get some more development out of him and possibly get 2 more years of eligibility. Jason Pitts II and Greg Monty are going to be like depth pieces, but with Greg Monty getting some time on special teams, I'm going to see if I can use him as a punt returner or kick returner. Now, I mentioned tight ends. Josh Caddis, the big transfer from Kentucky. He's the reason why I was able to move 2 tight ends over to the other side. We got Blake Trombley, another, I think he's a transfer as well. I can't remember if this guy was on my roster or not because we were so deep we had no production. But he's our number 2. We're going to have Alex Gunderson, Miles Springer, and Cole Schmidt as the depth pieces at tight end. Now, I'm just going to kind of talk through the offensive line because there's just so many players here or whatever. I'm just going to kind of give like an overall type view. First off, I'll say that Max Hyder is going to be the starter at left tackle after some off-season training got him up to like a 74 overall. But I think that we were able to bring in a few transfers like AJ Vaipulu, I think that's how you pronounce his name, a true senior, 77, 78 overall, and we need that on that left side of the line. And with some of the other players on this offensive line getting good boosts, I do expect the production on the offensive side to be even better, because one of the complaints I had with last year's roster is that I really didn't have no time to throw. They didn't really make a lot of holes for running backs to make plays, and we kind of just lucked out on certain games where we just played against another team that wasn't all that great, and we were able to maybe get some points and yardage in that way. But thankfully, with some of these transfer portal recruits being upperclassmen who are like at least mid 70s type players, we should get a little more time. We should get that split second more time worth of pass protection. We should get increased openings in the running game to where my star running back can take advantage of that speed and turn a small crease into a big 20-yard gain or long touchdown runs, those kinds of things. And if it doesn't happen, at least I have a mobile quarterback back there who can maybe buy some time with his legs. But I'm anticipating that the line play is going to be a lot better and that the production will be a lot better going into this season as compared to last season. So now we're going to just go through the last few players on this offensive line before we move into the defensive side of the game, side of the ball. So on the defense, we got Andre Krim coming back as a senior team captain, 75 overall, really good speed, should be a pretty good pass rush threat. We got Kyrie Mostyn coming in as a transfer. I think he's like a 3-star transfer. Not going to start this year, but he will definitely play. I'm going to try to get him into some games and see if we can get him some progression throughout the season. Moving over to the other side, we got Caleb Bryant as a transfer. I forgot where he came from. Nothing overpowering in terms of his overall ratings, but he should be an upgrade compared to how we played on the defensive line last year. Lionel Berry had a good offseason training, got himself up to like a 70 overall, good acceleration. The tackles, was a weak spot last year on the defense, slightly better this year with the players getting good production from the training. Weeks and Dean will be my 2 starters in the middle. Malachi Samuels, in that rotation, along with Cade Bloom and Phillip Finch. We're going to redshirt the true freshman, we're going to redshirt the true sophomore, Darryl Fouts. We got him in the transfer portal as well. Strong player, but needs more seasoning, needs more time to develop, and that's what we're going to try to do in the offseason. Now, linebackers got a lot of speed to burn, We can hope to get really good production. Taj Cole did play pretty good in some games, like getting to the quarterback. So we're hoping that he can take advantage of that speed, do the same thing. Mo Greenwood improved himself in the offseason training. We got Stephen Harper and Ben Laney pulling up the rear for the depth. Moving on to the middle linebacker spot, we found a guy we think can replace Buzz Lesnar. Carmichael Glass, a transfer. Forgot where we got him from. But a tall guy, but a little smaller in terms of his weight, but very fast. And you need that with all these offenses trying to have you chase their tight ends and wide receivers and running backs. Bubba Van Claiborne impressed me with his stats. Not as highly rated overall as Glass, but we're going to definitely play him. Avonte Mack, that was the last guy you saw on that line. We're going to try to get those middle linebackers some playing time because they're all pretty quick. Now, Jaquez Blanks, Jordan Underwood are going to be my top 2 picks for the outside linebacker spot, and I actually might start Underwood because he's faster. Now, the secondary got Lorenzo Dubose, star transfer for us. DeMarvin Holland, I had to make him a team captain. He was my true freshman last year. I played him in a lot of games, played him on special teams, got a big offseason boost to like a 77 overall, and he's got to be my starter. Replacing Ross I. Marley as one of the starting corners, but Ross I. Marley is going to be one of the slot guys along with Terrell Pace. Pace not really fast like that, so we'll use him in those multiple DB sets, but I'm impressed by the overall ratings from the corners because they were like really, really low rated, and it's starting to improve now. James Ivey is the star freshman on defense that we recruited, a 4-star prospect, 75 overall, really good speed, really good acceleration, and I'm hoping he can give us some really good production as a first-year player. Nico Solomon was the starter last year. He'll definitely play, but he's not going to be the starter in his final season. Now, on the opposite side of Ivy, we got a transfer redshirt sophomore in Aiden Duncanson. Really good speed, just needs time to develop. decent overall rating at 74 overall, and hopefully with our team he can do his thing. And last but not least, the special teamers, we got George Lincoln coming back as the kicker. Hopefully we don't have to use him too much. And Willie Buckman, who was like the best player overall last year, coming back to punt for last season. Now going into the depth chart, kind of gave you the rhyme and reason behind why I did what I did. Tommy Egan, highest rated quarterback on the team, but I'm going with the younger, mobile quarterbacks as my 1 and 2. Got a redshirt sophomore, Malik Wright II. You see me scroll across the screen and look at the accuracy numbers. I'm going to have to make it work because I want to take advantage of the speed. Like I said it last year when I lost to Jack Frost and Jackson State in that first game. I need a mobile quarterback because mobile quarterbacks are game breakers. So from that point on, that bug was kind of out there to develop Malik Wright or Bird Williams into that starter. And the offseason did a decent job of getting them some okay overall ratings, I guess, considering it being a cupcake squad. We're going to work with them. Running backs, no surprise here. We got Le'Veon Moss coming in. He has to start. He has to start. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But Cam Teague was going to be a starter. I think I mentioned that in the bowl game. I mentioned that in the game I played early in the season. I like the two physical attributes that he has. He has a nice physical tools, attributes that I could work with. Tyleek Drummond, good physical attributes like speed. We're going to work with him. Now the fullbacks, Mav Bentley is going to move from tight end to fullback and become the starter. Rod Tidwell, I'm kind of iffy here. So you're going to see me move around on these screens with the lineup and tweak it because originally I was going to run with Tidwell, Miranda, Davis, just to go off of overalls. When I saw the height, I was like, Jimmy Sanderson needs to start opposite one of these guys. Like I need to put tall guy on one side, a speedy guy on the other side, and another speedy guy in the slot and see what I can do. Now, I could end up shifting this thing around at some point in the season because I definitely want to play Rob Miranda, the true freshman, the 4-star freshman. I want to get him playing time. I want to take advantage of the senior Rod Tidwell because he has good speed. Well, not really super speed, but he has good athleticism and can catch. So I'm trying to work out the best rotation of wide receivers to improve the production, and I want to get Derwin Davis involved as well. So it's like Davis doesn't have the speed. Where can I put him? Because he's not going to just flat out burn people. He's going to probably be a possession guy, get those little slants or these little drag routes over the middle, maybe the little comeback routes, little things where he can just get open and catch. So you saw that. You saw the tight ends. Josh Caddis is going to be the starter. He's going to hopefully open up the passing game more for me. And now on these next few screens, I'm basically shuffling around trying to find out what side of the line would a player be best suited to play. Because, when you have some of these preset rosters, they kind of just have players wherever. And you need to go around and maybe tweak it yourself. And so that's what I'm doing on these screens. I'm trying to find the best possible combination of players that will make the offensive line work, make this offensive line click and gel and give my quarterback some time to throw. I'm tired of getting 2 steps into the drop and then getting a pass rush in my face because then you're sacked or you're throwing picks, like all of that. I'm tired of that, man. So what you're going to be seeing me do on these screens here is just kind of just shuffle through the roster, try to move people around and try to get the right people in the right spots. And, worst come to worst, they'll get development points just by getting in games or whatever. Now on defense, which you're going to see in a few minutes because I'm still on the offensive line, I lost track of how long I was actually working on the line. But on defense, it was kind of a similar thing. I'm not just talking and whenever the screen catches up. But on defense, a similar thing. I was trying to find out what combination of players will work best and see where I could possibly get guys who would generate a pass rush, see where I could put pressure on the quarterback. Because ultimately, that's what really leads to the turnovers from playing in these games. I don't have like true lockdown corners who will just stay with fast receivers up and down the field. So no, I gotta find ways to make that quarterback rush or hit the quarterback as he's throwing, so that a corner can make a play on the ball, or a safety can make a play on the ball, or some of these linebackers, they play the middle of the field sometimes, and they'll get interceptions that way. So that's how I was trying to work on that side of the depth chart. The linebackers, and I really misjudged how long I spent on these offensive linemen. But I'm gonna keep talking, as I said before. Now with the linebackers, it was mainly about trying to get the right speed, because so many of these teams like to throw to tight ends and running backs and hit these screens. I need people who can track down and run down offensive players when they catch the ball, or even keep up with some of these players out of the backfield or the tight ends. And that's exactly what I was doing there. Now the secondary, I kind of went with whoever was the highest rated player, because in a lot of cases the highest rated player was also like the fastest player, because we need speed. You really can't play this game defensively without speed, because the offensive players are just so overpowering at times. And like, if you get beat, you're getting beat for 6. You're not just getting beat for a large gain. You're getting beat for the touchdowns a lot of times. So I was looking for players who are going to be able to at least stay step for step with some of these receivers, or even just chase them down or chase a player down if they got like some open field. Because last year, I'm trying to think, I think it's the Jacksonville State game, the Jackson State game, the Jacksonville State game, the Hawaii game. I'm trying to think. There were multiple games where receivers were just getting free, beating dudes over the top, and is going for 6. And it was like kind of easy, because I was not generating a pass rush in many of these games, and we were just getting attacked through the air. It was pretty scary, because it was like, damn, what can I do? I'm gonna lose these games. And combining that with my lack of offensive firepower last season, that's why you saw 34-7 or 31-7, or like seeing these leads just balloon out of control, because I just was not able to have the speed on the field to keep up with any of the offensive players that the other team was throwing out there. Now, special teams, I think the screens are showing the linebackers, so I stalled enough. Now with special teams, it's pretty much the same thing, man. I only have one kicker, I only have one punter, and the one kicker and one punter are gonna start. Now for kickoffs, I think I'm gonna use the punter, because I think he has a stronger leg, so we'll use or take advantage of the punter's leg strength on kickoffs. Now when it comes to the returners, as I mentioned before, Tyleik Drummond and the true freshman Greg Monty, going to use those guys as the starting returners, kick return and punt returns. And hopefully I get like the little hidden yardage, because special teams like hidden yardage. You can change field position pretty quickly with a good return. You can put pressure on the defense with a good return. And especially if you pin an offense back, and they punt back to you, you can start your possessions on their side of the field with a good return. And I haven't really had that kind of game-breaking type player, or haven't had those kind of game-breaking type plays. So I'm trying to figure out what combination, what player can really give me that X factor in a ball game. Because of course you got the 3 phases of football games. Special teams is one of the 3 phases. You can't really overlook that at all. So looks like I talked faster than the video. So what I'm gonna do is kind of just let the rest of the screens play out. Throw a little background music.
North Road made this.
All right, so you got a chance to take a look at Coach Clay Brown's roster, the whole depth chart. You saw how we were able to bring in some transfers. I was going to throw in some practice footage, but the video is a little bit too long, to be honest, like 30-minute mark right now with no game action. So I think I'm going to cut it here. I will try to add some of the recruiting footage and footage from that first practice in episode 2. And I'll also add the first game of the season for Coach Clay Brown against the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. So thanks again for taking the time out to watch and to follow the story of Coach Clay Brown Sr., a story that's 20 years in the making. Make sure you cop those CB1 headphones from Clay Sounds. Not available in stores nor anywhere else.
North Road made this.